Hi everyone, I'm Divya and I used to be an intern and volunteer with Quasa's Foodwise Kids program in San Francisco.
Foodwise Kids is this awesome free program for elementary school students that uses the Ferry Plaza Farmers Market as a classroom to empower the next generation of healthy eaters. Through tastings, exploring the market, and hands-on cooking, we aim to nurture kids' love for fruits and vegetables and teach basic skills for prepping healthy food at home.
Foodwise Kids means a lot to me. I absolutely loved working with the kiddos, thinking about seasonal fresh fruits and vegetables, learning in the Ferry Plaza Farmers Market, and of course, cooking. Today, I will be talking about seasoning. This is a great activity to do with kiddos that are ages 5 or older. Adult supervision is encouraged. Follow along with your family and let's get started. I will be using the seasonings I have in my kitchen. Feel free to use whatever you have. So don't worry if you don't have the seasonings or the ingredients I do, just have fun with what's in your kitchen.
These are the seasonings I grabbed.
I have cilantro and lemon. Some liquid seasoning, I have olive oil, soy sauce, and apple cider vinegar. And some dry seasonings. I have black pepper, cumin, which has been ground cinnamon, dry oregano, and some sea salt. And we're gonna need some things to season. I have a bowl of lettuce, some lentils that have been cooked with tomato, a half a banana, and some pieces of tofu. And here are our supplies. I have an empty glass jar, a few bowls to mix things in if I have to, and a whole bunch of spoons.
I want to emphasize one thing. Everyone's tastes are different, and we all have different things in our cabinet. And that's great. Variety is the spice of life. Grab what you may have, and let's get started. Now that you've gathered your seasoning, ingredients that you want to season, and your tools like your spoons and your bowls, make sure that you have freshly washed hands. I just washed mine. Now we're going to play a quick game, which is where does each seasoning come from? I'm going to say the name of the seasoning, pause for a few seconds, and you're going to guess where that seasoning originates from. All right, let's do this. Okay, first up is sea salt. And we have a hint in the name. So where does sea salt come from? Yeah, sea salt comes from the sea. It's basically dried seawater. Salt also comes from minerals such as rocks. So the salt that you have in your kitchen may be from the sea or from the rock. And I think that's so fun to think about, that the same ingredients in different kitchens might come from different places. Okay, up next is black pepper or peppercorns. And my peppercorns live inside this pepper mill, and inside the pepper mill are just the black peppercorns. Can you see those? Let me hold it up. Yeah, just like that. It looks like a tiny little black round thing. So can you guess where black peppers come from, or what black peppers actually are? Okay, peppercorn is a small dried fruit with a hard seed inside. Next up is ground cumin. That's what ground cumin looks like, and this is what whole cumin looks like. So where does ground cumin come from? Ground cumin is the seed of a flowering plant. Now we have oregano, and I love oregano, especially on pizza. And that's what it looks like. It's been dried. Okay, take a guess, where does oregano come from? Oregano are the leaves of the oregano plant, and they have been dried and crushed. What about cinnamon? Cinnamon is sort of tricky, but it's pretty cool if you know it. And we're gonna learn this really quickly. So cinnamon is crushed and dried bark of a cinnamon tree. So if you've seen a cinnamon stick, this is actually the bark of the tree. And then this is just crushed tree bark. So that's cool. We are going to move on to our liquid seasoning. I have here apple cider vinegar. And there is a hint in the name. Of course, we have apple in the name. So you can guess maybe where apple cider vinegar comes from. Apple cider vinegar are crushed fermented apples. First, the apples get crushed and they turn into juice, and then they get really sour, and then we can use it as a seasoning. Soy sauce also sort of has a hint in its name. Soy sauce, sort of like apples, are fermented soy and wheat. Fermentation is essentially that the soybeans and the wheat, they sort of hang out together, they get really sour and basically stay preserved and turn into something super delicious. Next up, we've got olive oil. Also has a hint in its name. That's right, olive oil comes from crushed olives. Now we're going to explore our seasonings using our 5 senses, our eyes, our nose, our mouth, maybe our ears, and definitely we're gonna touch some of our fresh seasonings to see what they feel like. So cinnamon is what we're gonna start with, and cinnamon's a great one to smell. I love the smell of cinnamon. It's sort of sweet. I'm always reminded of December with cinnamon because it goes in a lot of cookies and baked goods at that time for me. Another good one to use our sense of smell is ground cumin. Cumin is a very, I'm getting an earthy smell, spicy. I love cumin, so I can smell this all day long. We're gonna use our sense of touch to feel the cilantro leaves. It's very smooth. And we're gonna look at the leaves. I'm just gonna pick one off. I love how the edges are sort of scalloped. We're gonna smell it. Smells very fresh, very fresh. Okay, now we're gonna just smell the olive oil too. I smell grassy, green. Next, we're gonna smell our apple cider vinegar, and that is very strong. I definitely smell like sour apple, really intense smell with apple cider vinegar. When you have such an intense smell, you know just a little bit goes a long way. Okay, we're gonna use our sense of smell once more with soy sauce. And we can use, of course, our eyes. Look at this beautiful black color. I see that soy sauce isn't very thick, it's quite thin. It moves really easily around the bottle. And it actually smells sort of sweet and salty. The lemon, I'm gonna use my eyes and look, I see tiny little bumps and it smells very sour. Lemon always reminds me of summertime, which I am very excited for. Shake our pepper, hear the sound. I'm gonna smell it, and that smells super peppery and spicy, just as you would imagine black pepper to smell. We're going to learn some seasoning techniques. First, we're going to learn the pinch technique. Second, the drizzle. Third, the sprinkle. And last, the squeeze. So we're just going to pretend. You actually don't have to grab a pinch of salt. The pinch technique is pretty straightforward. Use your thumb and your pointer finger, and you're gonna just take a pinch of salt. And then the pinch technique, you basically add that pinch in the food you are seasoning. The drizzle technique is used with liquid seasonings. So for olive oil, since we're just practicing, I'm gonna make sure the cap is on really tight. You tip the bottle over and you wanna hold it high up, and then you gently shake the bottle back and forth, and you'll get a thin stream of olive oil coming out, and you can drizzle it onto your food. If the bottle is too heavy, I like to pour some into a bowl, and then I just use a spoon, a clean spoon. I take a little bit out of the bowl, and then I use the drizzle technique this way. Some dry spices and seasonings I have in these bottles that have these shaker tops. So the shaking technique, and again, we're just practicing, so I'm gonna put the cap back on. Tip the bottle just slightly, and you shake. And you can shake your arm like that. You can also use both hands, hold the bottle with one hand, and tap. This squeeze, of course, is reserved for lemons, citrus, any citrus, orange, lime. And to squeeze, you tip the lemon over, it's already been cut in half, and you squeeze with your whole hand. All right, let's get to seasoning. I just want to point out that fresh fruits and vegetables, they taste pretty good on their own, but adding seasoning is a fun way to add different flavors and try new things. First up, we are going to season my lentils. And to this, I am going to add a pinch of salt, a little crack of black pepper, a shake of cumin. So I'm gonna gently tip my bottle over And I'm just gonna tap some cumin. I am going to add a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to use some olive oil that I have poured in a bowl. And I'm gonna use the spoon to just drizzle some on. So we've added seasonings to the lentils. I'm gonna give it a mix. So this looks pretty mixed to me, and I'm gonna try it. Oh, that's really good. Next, I'm gonna season my tofu. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, some black pepper. I'm going to add a really small drizzle of apple cider vinegar because it's so strong. I don't like to have too much of it, or else I find that it gets too sour for my taste. But once again, we all have different tastes, so maybe you're into more of that. And I'm gonna add some oregano. Okay, we're gonna add a clean spoon, and I'm just gonna mix these around so everything gets nicely coated. I am going to use a clean fork to try it. I like it. Next up, we are going to season our salad. And I just have a bowl of lettuce, and we are going to use our empty jar. We're going to dress it by creating a vinaigrette. So I am going to add some olive oil in here. We're gonna drizzle it in and use that squeeze technique finally. Now I see that I have 2 seeds in my lemon. Since my hands are clean, I'm just gonna pop out the seeds with my hands, and I'm going to put that in the compost. To squeeze, I'm just gonna put it in the palm of my hand and squeeze it, and I'm just covering here so all of the lemon juice goes into the jar. You can also squeeze the lemon into a bigger bowl and then add it into the jar. Do what works. I got some lemon seeds in there, and that's fine. It's not a big deal at all. Next up, we're gonna add a little drizzle of soy sauce. And I'm actually gonna add a little shake of pepper in here. And you're gonna put the lid on really tight, and now we're gonna shake. This is the fun part. Smells awesome. I'm gonna grab that clean spoon, and I'm just gonna try, and I'm gonna adjust if I think I need something else. I think it's perfect. We're gonna pour it on top of our lettuce. And with a clean fork, I'm just going to mix it. And now we're gonna try a little bit. It's really good. And I love that I can taste the olive oil because I love olive oil. Okay, now we're going to season a banana. I love seasoning fruit. I like to add a little bit of salt on citrus, such as oranges, especially if they're sour. I just love that it enhances the taste of the orange. To my banana though, I'm just gonna add a little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon is definitely a strong seasoning, so we're gonna add just a bit. We're gonna use a clean spoon. So I sprinkled the cinnamon on evenly around the banana, so we don't need to mix it or anything, but to try it. Oh, that's so good. Give this a shot if you can. So that wraps up seasonings. I hope you had fun, and I hope you learned something. Remember, everyone's tastes are different, and we all have different things in our cabinet. So use what you might have and just have some fun. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Divya from Quasa's Foodwise Kids program. If you want to learn more about Foodwise Kids, go to quasa.org/foodwisekids to learn more. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Thank you.